Okay, this is another quick video. It's kind of piggybacking off the last video that was done. The last video that was done was divination as decryption and a craft as a key. So we kind of tying a lot of these videos together. This video here, it's about ritual as encryption. So we talked about divination systems being used to decode the energy and extract the message from the energy. And now we're going to talk about actually sending the message. Now this is kind of self to others, but I'm making this video because it kind of gives some context to some of the stuff we were talking about in self to self. Okay, we can filter unreadable language through a system and decode it. So that's been established. The key to this is your divination systems, your I King system, your Ifa system, your tarot cards, things like that. They decode them. Even general astrology. These things decode the energetic message and put them in readable language or readable context where we can decipher that. There is a constant backward and forward communication between the conscious and the subconscious minds. In the book True Master Volume 2, Self to Others, we discuss rituals as encryption, and encryption is discussed on the last video, divination as decryption, and a craft as a key. So how to code our conscious intent in such a way where it is readable to the subconscious mind. So if we observe the language that the subconscious mind understands, you will see that it reads repetition, it reads patterns. Like we talked, we borrowed the concept of patterns from the experiential model. Or for our purposes, the language that we use here is the language of events or the language of happenings. You see what I'm saying? Singing the national anthem at a football game is a ritual. That's a happening. That's an event. A ritual is a sequence of actions. Sometimes it's theatrical in nature. It has an intent behind it. It's designed to get some sort of get something done. But it's a series of actions. So even when seemingly isolated events occur, this is actually readable language for the subconscious mind. So we communicate to it using events or a sequence or some sort of happening, as in a ritual. And it actually, when we see happenings, this is also a form of communication that it is receiving. So when we say in the book True Master Volume 1, Self to Self, we say we talk about how there's no such thing as isolated events. There's no such thing as coincidences and stuff like that. All these things are actual readable language, but we also talk about how the conscious mind is the lowest level of mind, and it processes the least amount of data, and it actually needs help to even understand that this is even readable language. So the subconscious mind is always communicating with you, but whether you're able to read it is something else. This is what we're talking about in the video. Use nature as technology. When you understand that nature is inside of your mind, then all of this becomes relevant, and you acknowledge a constant communication between the conscious and subconscious levels of the mind. So nature talks to you. God talks to you at that point once you have that understanding. Even when seemingly isolated events occur, this is actual readable language for the subconscious mind. The language of happenings, the language of position. This is why self to self is so important, because to say you are God responsibly, you have to be aware of what it implies and as it pertains to your relationships with others, as well as what the self and the mind are in their full scope and how it communicates. And I refer people to the section of True Master Volume 1, Self to Self, where it talks about the 4 phases of awareness. So that's that in a nutshell. That's the video. Just want to make it real short, but the purpose of putting a lot of this information out there is because we have a lot of, it's a fad now to say, well, I'm God, I'm this, I'm that, but to really get an understanding of that, it's actually a profound statement, and it puts a responsibility on that person. So we don't want to be irresponsible and just throw around terms and stuff like that without a full understanding of it. So that's the video. Thanks a lot. Leave your comments.